In this video, you will learn how to solve one-step addition and subtraction equations. Remember that the property of equality means the state of being equal. If you have A and B equal to each other, you can swap them around however you need to. This also means that we can switch the expressions on either side of the equal sign. So here you can see we switched the x plus 1 equals 5 and 5 equals x plus 1. Those two things are the same equation. That's part of the property of equality. We can also add the same value to both sides of the equal sign, and the sides will remain equal. The addition property of equality says that if A equals B, you can add any single value to both sides and it will still be true. And in the same way, the subtraction property of equality says that you can subtract any single value from both sides of the equal sign and it will still be true. Example 1, x plus 3 equals 7. The first thing we're going to do, which isn't completely necessary, but it's helpful, is to draw a line down the middle of the equal sign so that we can see where the two sides of the equation are. Then we want to look for the variable. The variable usually looks like a letter. In this case, it's x. Wherever the variable is, whichever side of the equation it's on, that's where we want to start focusing our attention first. In this equation, the variable is on the left side of the equal sign, part of the expression x plus 3. Our goal is to get that x, the variable, all by itself on one side of the equal sign. So we have to get rid of that plus 3. But remember, whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other side to make sure that it stays equal, to make sure it stays a true statement. So we write minus 3 under the plus 3. That will get rid of it. And that equals minus 3. So we're writing minus 3 on both sides of the equal sign that we write underneath the equation. Make yours look just like this. Then we draw this line across underneath what we've just written. This represents the equal sign, kind of like if you stack up two numbers and add them together, you draw a line underneath to represent the equal sign. Then we have to figure out what is on the left side. What's remaining? If we take away 3 from the x plus 3, we're going to see just x is remaining. And on the right side, if we do 7 minus 3, we will have 4 remaining. So your solution looks like this, x equals 4. But we want to make sure we check our answer. It's always good to know how to check to see if you're correct. So notice we have x equal to 4. So we find the x back in the equation. Remember, because of that property of equality, we can swap things that are equal to each other. Since x is equal to 4, we can replace the x with the 4. Once we replace the x with the 4, we want to check and see, is this equation now true? Let's see, 4 plus 3 equals 7. That's true. That means we got the correct solution. Nice job. Example 2, x minus 2 equals negative 8. First, draw the line down the middle of the equal sign. Next, look and see where is the variable, which side of the equation is it on? There it is on the left with x minus 2. So we have to figure out how to get x all by itself by getting rid of the minus 2. We'll use the additive inverse. Plus 2 will make minus 2 into 0. It will basically neutralize it. So be sure to write plus 2 equals plus 2. That way you're showing that you're adding 2 to both sides of the equal sign. Then draw the line underneath to represent equals. Now I'm going to make a mistake so that you can see what it looks like when we check our answer. You'll see what it looks like when it's wrong. So in my mistake, on the left side, I've got x minus 2 plus 2. So that equals x. That part's correct. But on the right side, I've got 8 and 2. And I'm going to add them together, and that equals 10, right? Well, let's check our solution. Remember, we can swap out the things that are equal to each other. So if x equals 10, we can replace the x in the equation with a 10. Now our equation says 10 minus 2 equals negative 8. Is that true? No, it's not. 10 minus 2 is 8, not negative 8. Let's try again. We are adding 2 to both sides of the equation, but we have to notice that we're adding 2 to a negative 8. So we have a positive sign and a negative sign. We're adding them together. Remember our rules for adding integers. We have to actually subtract those values. So 8 minus 2 is 6. Then we use the sign of the bigger number, the one with more absolute value. So we use the negative sign. So our answer would be negative 6. Let's check to see if this one is true. Find all the things that are equal to each other. x and negative 6 are equal to each other, so we can replace the x in the equation with a negative 6. Now, is this equation true? We have negative 6 minus 2. If we start at negative 6 on the number line and then move 2 spaces to the left, we would be at negative 8. So yes, it is true. X equals negative 6. Example number 3, 2 equals x minus negative 4. You might see it like this with the parentheses around the negative 4. Those parentheses are really just there to separate the signs, the minus, negative, so that they don't get too confusing or blend together. It really means the same thing without. So remember that subtracting means we add the opposite. So we change the x minus negative 4 to x plus positive 4. We can start by drawing the line down the middle of the equal signs. Now we need to figure out which side the variable is on. I see it on the right, so that's the side we need to focus on first. How will we get x all by itself on one side of the equal sign? It has plus 4 with it, so we have to subtract 4 to get it away. And remember that whatever we do to one side of the equal sign, we have to do to the other side too, to make sure that the equation stays equal. So we write minus 4 equals minus 4, draw a line underneath to represent the equal sign. On the left side, we have 2 minus 4. You can think of that on a number line. Start at 0, go to 2, and then move 4 to the left, and you would end up at negative 2. Or you can think of it as adding the opposite, 2 plus negative 4. And on the right side, we just have x. Now let's check our solution to see if it's correct. If negative 2 and x are equal to each other, then that means that we can substitute or swap or trade. Instead of having the x in the equation, we'll put the negative 2. So check and see, is this true? Is 2 equal to negative 2 plus 4? Yes, negative 2 plus positive 4 equals positive 2. That means that our solution is correct. X equals negative 2, or negative 2 equals x. Both of those are the same thing. Here's our final example. Negative 15 plus y equals 8. Sometimes we'll use other letters other than x. You are used to seeing examples where the variable comes first. So here we see negative 15 plus y. We can switch them around because when you add two numbers together, you can move where they are. Just like 1 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 1. So we can move these and make it y plus negative 15. We're going to look at how to solve it both ways. So you know that you can do it either way. You can switch it or you can leave it. Start by drawing your line down the middle of the equal signs and then figure out which side the variable is on so that you know where to focus your attention. There it is on the left side. So we have to figure out how to get y all by itself. The only thing with it is a minus 15. So we have to get rid of that negative 15. To do this, since these two numbers are being added together, we're going to subtract the negative 15. So we need to write minus negative 15 on both sides of the equal sign. Draw your line underneath, and then on the left side, when we subtract negative 15 from negative 15, we'll end up with 0. So on the left side, we only have the y. But remember that subtracting a negative is actually the same if we add the opposite. So let's go ahead and change that. Instead of subtracting negative 15, let's add positive 15. Now just do the math on the right side. What is 8 plus 15? Yes, it's 23. Let's check our solution to make sure that we did it correctly. If y is equal to 23, then we should be able to swap it out or substitute it into the equation where the y is. So what is 23 plus negative 15? If it's 8, then we did our problem correctly and our solution is correct. If it's not 8, then we did something wrong. It is 8. We did it correctly. Now you should know how to solve one-step addition and subtraction equations. Thanks for watching.